Hi everybody, it's Stomping Formula. I'm just going to give you a little rundown of how to play a Demon Hunter, Vengeance Demon Hunter, which is the tank version of the Demon Hunter, the newest tank in the game, to get through some of the mythic dungeon content that we have. A lot of people have been having issues. They've been having problems once they get above about a mythic level 4. I've cleared all the way up to a mythic 11, so this is going to be a little bit easier for everybody once I show you what you need and how you need to play the character. So, we're going to look at what Demon Hunters have out of the bag. This is your passive. This is about being a tank. It's Demonic Wards. Your tattoos reduce the magic damage taken by 10% and increase your stamina by 45% and your armor by 120%. Doesn't sound like a lot, and it's really not, but it's getting buffed in the next patch. And this is also your mastery. Demon Spikes reduces the amount of physical damage taken by an additional 24%. And it also increases your attack power by 32%. Now this sounds like a really good thing to stack, and it's alright in the lower Mythic Plus contents. I think that I stack Mastery up to about a Mythic Plus 7, and then I'll show you what I do after that. Here's your taunt. This was really useful last week. It's called Torment. It increases your threat for 3 seconds, and it forces the target to attack you. Last week, one of the modifiers or affixes was Skittish. And Soul Carver, this is a really good ability that you should use on cooldown no matter what, in my opinion. And here are your sigils. I'll explain to you. I have a really good setup for these things, and I'll show you what those are. And this is your main mitigation. This is Soul Cleave. It's a vicious strike to all enemies in front of you. It is a frontal cone attack. It is really nice. It does a lot of damage for up to 208,000 damage, which is physical damage, and you heal yourself for 354k based on the pain spent. It's 30 to 60 pain, and there's people shouldn't be using this as often as they do unless they're in a hurt life or death situation. This is your active mitigation. We talked about it a minute ago. It says increase your parry chance by 20%. That's really good. And decrease your physical damage taken by 44%. That changes based on the amount of mastery you have. Alright, so I'm going to go into talents real quick to show what I use for mythics. Agonizing Flames is almost the go-to for everybody. It's the 30% increase run speed, 30% increase damage from Immolation Aura. Now, a lot of people use Burning Alive because it spreads your fiery brand, and this might be okay for me personally in higher mythics like Mythic 9 or 10 plus, but I prefer Fallout. Fallout gives you a chance of shattering a lesser soul fragment on your initial burst of Immolation Aura. Whenever you have a lot of mobs around you, this works really, really well, and it definitely spews out those lesser soul fragments more often than you would think. Usually, if I pull a big pack and I go in and I hit Immolation Aura, right off the bat I'll have 3 to 5 lesser soul fragments, so I can hit a soul cleave and heal myself back up to full if I need to. Fellblade, again, this is a really good thing. All it is a distance closer. It does fire damage, so Charred Warblades gives you a 15% heal of the damage that's done. The main reason why most people take this instead of Flame Crash is because it does give you 20 pain. Soul Rending, again, with the build that's out right now, Soul Rending is just the way to go with Last Resort. It's like God mode. As soon as you go into Metamorphosis, you're gonna leech for 50% of the damage you do. You don't even need a healer at this point. A lot of people will run Fracture in the next patch because it's getting half its pain cost cut. Feed the Demon's really good too, but a lot of us feel like it's a trap talent. Quicken Sigils. Basically, it causes your sigils to activate much faster. and as you can see, it activates quite quickly, and your cooldowns are reduced by 20 seconds, or 20%, so that's really nice. Sigil of Chains is extremely nice. It's like Gorfine's Grasp, and it has a slow. It just has a really terrible cooldown. Right now it's 48 seconds because of my haste, but it's about a minute. It lasts it's about a minute with no haste, but it's going up to a minute and a half in the next patch. And this is a trap. This is definitely a trap talent now that they have a set of macros, and I'm going to go over with sigils in a minute. Basically, just increases the duration of your sigils, but also makes them drop at your feet. Fel Devastation. It's a big heal, but mainly it's a lot of AoE damage. On huge mob pools, I can pull 1.2 million DPS with Fel Devastation and Soul Cleaves, so just keep that in mind. This is getting a really big buff in the next patch. I'll go over that whenever I do a PTR video. Last Resort is a cheat death. You don't really need this in your lower mythic pluses, but if you're having problems staying alive, Last Resort's definitely the go-to talent. If not, Soul Barrier. Soul Barrier is very strong, and it's only getting stronger. This is garbage. It's going away. So we are going to go over the artifact weapon real quick. Just real quick to go over the path that you need to be taking. Yes, mine looks mostly complete, but we're going to go over the optimal path. Even with the changes that have happened in the game so far, this is still deemed pretty much the optimal path, not only because of the golden traits you unlock, but it's also considered the optimal path because of the traits you get along the way to unlocking the golden traits, if that makes sense. Alright, so your first golden trait you're going to work for is Fueled by Pain. Basically, it's a chance for a 5-second proc in a metamorphosis. If you have Soul Rending, that's going to help a lot. But it's anytime you consume, it says Soul Fragment, but it's pretty much it's a lesser Soul Fragment, and it's procs per minute. So just because you're spitting out more Soul Fragments, if you already spit out a lot of Soul Fragments, you're not going to get more procs per minute. So running like Fracture and also running Fallout is not going to increase your odds if you're putting out a lot of Soul Fragments already. Now the reason why this is one of the best ones to go to in the beginning is because this one increases the fire damage you deal to a target that has Fiery Brand on it by 40%. I have a relic that increases that, but it's 30% without the relic. This is a huge one. Increase your agility by up to 15% whenever you use empowering wards. And this isn't that big, but these two are huge ones. So the very next golden trait you're going to want to run to is Charred Warblades. Is you heal yourself for 15% of the fire damage you deal. Again, the reason why this is such a huge thing, instead of going to this one, which this one's big too, but instead of going to this one, it's the ones you pick up along the way. You're going to get increased duration of your Fiery Brand. You're going to get increased damage dealt by your Immolation Aura, which in turn is going to increase the amount of healing you get. And then you have to increase your parry chance by 3%. That may not sound like much, but that's a lot. So once you get here, you get the 15% of healing back. Now, what a lot of us do, and what most of us do, is we stop right here, and we work for Painbringer. Then we go over here, increase the damage done by your Infernal Strike. Well, Infernal Strike is fire damage, so that's more passive healing. And then you have this one. Defensive Spikes, in my opinion, is a very good talent. It says your chance to parry is increased by additional 10% for the first 3 seconds after activating Demon Spikes. That is awesome. And then you have increase the maximum health gain whenever you in a metamorphosis. So you go up another. This one I think is 15%. Right now mine's 20 because of a relic. But now Last Resort, instead of being a 30% life buff, it's on mine it's a 50% life buff. And then there's Painbringer. This is awesome. Each soul fragment you consume reduces all damage you take by 3% for 4 seconds. Alright, so this caps out at 5. The max you can have up at a time is 15% damage reduction, but 15% damage reduction is massive. And with the changes coming up in the next patch, you're going to be able to be sucking up soul fragments a lot more often than you can now. So they keep that in mind. And then your last path, of course, is going to be through Soul Cleave heals for additional 9%, which is really nice. And then you got your 3% increase to maximum health, and I'm working on this last one, which was, in my opinion, the most terrible thing in our tree, which is increased sheer damage dealt by 3%. Alright, now that we're done with that, we're going to go and look at gear. And I hope you guys understand what I'm doing with gear, so if you have an issue with my gear, just ask questions. Alright, so I'm really sorry about my inventory. It's probably going to trigger quite a few people, but you'll get over it. Alright, so here we go. We're not even going to go over all my gear. Just know that this is the only legendary I wear in my setup here. It's not that good, but it's alright, and it's going to be getting a lot better in the next patch. Focus on what I have here: 15% haste, 24% mastery, 6% versatility, and dodge and parry if you want to look at that. Alright, so what it comes down to is the amount of hit points I have. I have 3.6 million, I have 24% mastery, 15% haste, and 6% versatility. This is my Mythic Plus gear for up to about +6 or +7. And I run these two, in my opinion, these are some of the best trinkets you can run on a Demon Hunter. The Goblet of Nightmare Shaker, you get it from Emerald Nightmare. It says plus 1233 agility, and taking damage has a chance to create a nightmarish Ichor nearby. Absorbing the Ichor increases versatility by 2571 for 10 seconds. This procs all the time, and versatility is amazing. It is one of the best things for Demon Hunters because of our lack of cooldowns in between our active mitigation. This is another one, and I upgraded this, and I'll upgrade it again in the next patch. A lot of people don't like these. It's almost 1,000 versatility, and it procs almost 5,000 agility, and agility increases armor, it increases dodge, it increases damage, which in turn increases our self-heal, and that's really good. It also has this thing where it increases the amount of your effects with healing potions, which is huge. Whenever I drink a healing potion with this thing equipped, my health almost jumps half my health bar, to give you an idea. Alright, so now we're going to jump into, it's called my Xavius set, because he was the first boss I ever fought where I needed a different set of gear. But pretty much I use it on Xavius, Guarm, and Ursoc. Now, as you can see, I lost 5 item levels, which I'm going to have to change this trinket out because they nerfed it. But same thing with the legendary here. Now the difference is I'm running about 10% versatility instead of 6. Haste has gone down, still running about 20% mastery, and my avoidances are about the same. Crit's a little higher, but that's because I haven't been able to adjust it properly right. Now what I want you to see here is the versatility number. There feels, and I might be wrong in this, other people can chime in here. I need to swap out that trinket before I forget. But there feels like there's a breakpoint. And if you don't know what a breakpoint is, it's a point where something feels like it changes drastically at a certain point. It feels like there's a breakpoint for Demon Hunters, or Vengeance Demon Hunters, on versatility right around 6 or 7% versatility. Once you get past that 7 to 8%, you start to notice versatility doing a lot more than what it used to. So, and there's another breakpoint. It's up around, like, say I just jumped up 2%. It's like, it feels like it's around 15%. So just keep that in mind. There are breakpoints in versatility, even though they're not listed on the internet, and it's a huge difference. Just ask your healers. This is a set I run for Mythic plus 7 or higher. I also run it for Xavius, Guarm, and Ursoc. Basically any hard-hitting boss that can take, that hits for, half my health bar. Which, with affixes this week, which are Raging, Necrotic, I don't remember what the third one is. Raging and Necrotic, once you get up into the higher ends of Raging and Necrotic, the trash is going to be hitting hard enough to where you need versatility. So keep that in mind. Well, right now this is all I'm going to do in this this little video, and I will be releasing another video in a couple days where I'm going to go through heroics and mythic dungeons with different sets of gear, so that you guys can see how things are done to help you keep up your survivability. Now, before I jump out of here, I just remembered something. It's the macros. So let's open up the macro window. Alright, so here, read this. It says cast at cursor Sigil of Silence, and I put it on my mouse 5 button. So my mouse button, wherever my cursor is, if I throw down, oops, wrong button. Anyway, you see both my Sigil of Fear and Sigil of Silence both cast it wherever my cursor's at. That's cast brackets at cursor Sigil of Silence or Sigil of Misery, because here's the other one. And basically you don't have to hit any buttons except for the one that starts the cast. So there's no there's no hit the button, find the reticle, and then go to where you need to go. It's wherever you're at, you hit the button. Now here's the one that I said the reason why concentrated sigils need to go away. Cast bracket at player Sigil of Flame. Now whenever I hit Sigil of Flame, it's going to pop up at my feet. No matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing, it's going to drop Sigil of Flame on me. I have another one of these, of course, set up for Sigil of Chains for cast at cursor. And Sigil of Chains works really well for things like teaming, like last week, or I'm sorry, not teaming, but skittish. So if you want to know more about macros or weak aura setups like the one I have here, or anything like that, just let me know. Like the video, subscribe in the bottom, follow me on Twitch if you want. I stream on Twitch from about 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern during the work week, and also I stream from 8 o'clock to 11:30 Eastern on those same days and on the weekends. So if you want to, come watch me stream. I usually am playing this guy, and we're usually doing Mythic Pluses. Tuesdays and Wednesdays we'll be raiding. I may not be able to interact with the stream as much, but you'll get to see what it looks like from a Vengeance Demon Hunter point of view, going through Emerald Nightmare, Heroic, and through Trials of Valor. Alright guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a nice night. Hey guys, real quick, I finished uploading the video and I realized that I never covered the cooldowns. So we're going to cover those real quick. And I know it sounds a little silly, but we're going to cover them because I realized that I left out one of the more important things I wanted to hit on in this video. So, real quick, let's go over cooldowns. I apologize. So, cooldowns. Empower wards. Reduces magical damage taken by 30% for 6 seconds. Has a 20-second cooldown not affected by haste. This is quite possibly, and I mean quite possibly, one of the most powerful magical mitigations in the game. The only thing more powerful is Mark of Ursaw from the Bears, or Guardian Druids rather. And the only reason why theirs is more powerful is a shorter cooldown, but it's up in the air if they can get the rage required to stack it every 20 seconds. So this is probably because on top of the reduction of 30%, you also have a 10% magic reduction already from your demonic wards. I just wanted to hit that. It's really important. So if there's even just a little bit of a caster anywhere doing any kind of damage to you, make sure you're hitting this, because this is a huge, Huge deal. Um, in Emerald Nightmare on Heroic, when we fight Il'gynoth the Corrupted Heart, he spawns this big nightmarish horror that does this eye beam and does like 1.2 million damage to you on the first charge, and it every time he hits you, I think it's increases the damage you take from that eye beam by 30%. It may not be that much. I'd have to go back and look. But with Empower Wards and using Fiery Brand, which is another good one I'll go over in a minute, we use Empower Wards, I can take 5 stacks of that debuff in Heroic with no problems, where my co-tank, who's a Paladin, can only take 2. If he goes to take a third one, he will absolutely die. So Empower Wards is very strong and needs to be used all the time. And it's only a 20-second cooldown, and it has no resource cost. So there's no reason why people are not using Empower Wards. And I've seen it, I've watched many streams with people playing Demon Hunters, and they have a huge issue with dying a lot, and they're never using this. Another one that's really big, Fiery Brand. Basically, it's like Demo Shout from Warriors, and it decreases the damage something does to you by 40%, but it's only one target, although you can spec into having it spread around. The big thing that I like about this is the amount of fire damage it does, on top of the artifact ability where it increases the fire damage that you do. And the reason why I find that to being a big deal is for threat generation and healing, because of the healing that you get from charred boar blades. So keep that in mind, and it does affect like Fell Devastation, it does affect Fell Blade, that extra damage that you do. And Soul Carver, which is another one that I forgot to go over. It says carve into the soul of a target, dealing 233k fire damage, an additional 153k over 3 seconds. It immediately shatters 2 lesser soul fragments from the target, and 1 additional soul fragment for every 1 second after that, for 3 seconds basically. So every time it takes fire damage, it's going to spit out another one. This is huge. Again, this is something I recommend using every time the cooldown's up, because having those out, not only is it passive healing, but if you spec in to Feed the Demon, that's the more times you can keep your demon spikes up, and if you spec into Soul Barrier, it's going to give you that huge shield right off the bat. So again, this is another really big one that apparently a lot of people don't use. And then of course there's our big one right here, Metamorphosis. Increases the maximum health you have for 15 seconds, and with Soul Rending you get that 50% leech. It generates 7 pain every 1 second, so after about 3 seconds of not doing anything, you'll get a free Soul Cleave. But you're going to be generating so much pain, and you're going to have so much leech going on that you're gonna do astronomical amounts of healing on yourself. Be sure if you pop Metamorphosis that you let your healer know, so they can take a little bit of a break on you. Now on the fact of Metamorphosis, it only has a 3 minute cooldown, so when you're in Mythic Pluses, there's absolutely no issue. You genuinely do not need Metamorphosis for boss fights in Mythic Pluses. Usually, unless you get into like Tyrannical, some higher affixes. So pop Metamorphosis on trash pools. I don't know why people don't do that. I do it. Use Metamorphosis. It is there for you to use. This is not Old WoW where all your defensive cooldowns have a 30-minute to an hour cooldown. You have to wait for them to come back up. Use Metamorphosis. This is in your toolkit. A lot of people don't use it, just pulling trash. I use it all the time. Even if it's only a small trash pool, if it's only like 5 things, I'll pop Metamorphosis right off the beginning, in the beginning of the mythic, just to keep the cooldown rolling. Now, I think that I've covered everything. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. Like the video if you like it, follow me on Twitch, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. I'm trying to make this a thing, and I will release as much content as possible. Right now, I'm trying to focus on 1 video a day for a week, and then after that, I'm going to try to get out maybe 2 videos a week, just basically WoW stuff. I'm also going through playing Gears of War 4, so if you guys want to see a playthrough of that, I'm doing that as well. I've already released one video of my playthrough. It's my first YouTube video. This is my second YouTube video, so keep in mind, one, I feel like I have a face for radio, so you may not see my face in a lot of videos. Two, I'm still a little nervous, so if you can, guys, just follow me on Twitter. On Twitch. I also have Twitter links linked below as well. Follow me on Twitch, and also subscribe and like this video if you don't mind. All right, thanks, guys.